In nature, hyena attacks don't begin with noise, but with a prolonged silence that's almost imperceptible. On the open grasslands, even a small movement can quickly escalate into a surprise attack, where speed, stamina, and coordination create constant pressure before the prey can react. In those brief moments, instinct, timing, and the ability to maintain the rhythm of movement determine the entire outcome of the confrontation. In the vast grasslands of the Serengeti and Masai Mara, wildebeest live near water sources, where the low grass allows for visibility, but the danger remains. An adult weighs between 400 and 600 pounds, moving in herds of over 1 million during large migrations. And this reliance on a constant flow makes individual animals vulnerable to being separated from the overall rhythm. In shallow water, a pack of hyenas had been tracking an antelope beforehand, patiently maintaining a distance while the target was still underwater. As soon as it set foot on shore, they simultaneously cornered, forcing the animal out of its safe position and accelerating, creating continuous pressure that prevented it from regaining its balance. In just moments, the safe space disappeared. The hyenas closed in close enough to control its direction of movement. The antelope could not return to the pack and was completely controlled. The outcome decided with the hyenas having a clear advantage at the point of contact. In large-scale migrations, safety depends on a synchronized rhythm of movement. When that rhythm is broken, the collective advantage diminishes rapidly, and the situation shifts in favor of the side that capitalizes on the right moment. In the vast savannas and open forests of Africa, such as Kenya, Namibia, and South Africa, white and black rhinos live near water sources, often frequenting mud pools to cool and reduce parasites. They prefer open spaces for observation and vigilance, and their habit of moving between grasslands and water spots sometimes causes an individual to become separated from a safe location. On the vast savanna, the hyena pack, having been watching beforehand, fanned out in multiple directions and maintained distance, constantly shifting positions to apply pressure, forcing a rhino to turn and defend itself, gradually losing spatial control, unable to maintain a stable direction of movement, and forced to retreat, shifting the advantage to the hyena pack. After a brief struggle, the rhino lost its direction of movement and had to retreat. The hyenas maintained pressure at close range. The advantage shifted to them, and the outcome was decided very quickly. Amid the savanna grasslands and open forests of Africa, buffalo live in large herds and migrate near rivers and lakes in search of grass and water. They maintain their safety through tight formations and vigilance. But seasonal migrations sometimes create gaps between individuals, leaving some vulnerable to being separated from their safe haven. One afternoon on the grassland, a pack of hyenas, having been watching a young buffalo that had strayed from the herd, immediately broke away from the formation, maintaining distance and pressing diagonally, not charging straight but constantly changing positions, forcing the target to turn around multiple times and expend energy. When the rhythm of movement began to break, the young buffalo gradually lost its ability to maintain direction and was forced to slow down. The hyenas quickly narrowed the gap, preventing it from returning to the herd and shifting the advantage entirely to the hyena pack. In open space, collective strength determines safety. When the rhythm of movement is broken and forced out of formation, the advantage diminishes rapidly, and the outcome usually belongs to the side that maintains consistent pressure at the right time. Spanish across the savannas and woodlands of Africa. Leopards typically live near large trees, where they can drag prey high up to avoid predators. This wide adaptability allows them to survive in many environments. But their reliance on treed space also creates vulnerabilities on the ground. At the edge of a thicket, a hyena spotted a leopard dragging its prey. Instead of rushing to approach, it maintained a safe distance, observing the leopard's reaction before gradually applying pressure, forcing the leopard to leave its safe position and expose itself to open space. As the pressure increased, the leopard lost its advantage in controlling the area and was forced to retreat into a tree to avoid a direct confrontation. The hyena pack quickly seized the food, and the outcome of the struggle clearly favored them. In an open environment, positional control determines advantage. When forced out of familiar space, initial advantages quickly diminish, and the situation shifts in favor of the side that capitalizes on the moment. In savanna grasslands like the Serengeti and Masai Mara, lions live in open spaces, relying on their long-range vision and coordination to hunt, often moving near water sources where prey congregates. This environment helps them control the area, but when alone, their advantage diminishes significantly. The tranquil atmosphere of the forest suddenly changed when a pack of hyenas, who had been watching a lioness moving alone at the edge of their territory, didn't approach directly, but instead circled around, constantly shifting positions to force their opponent to turn and expend energy. When the movement became disjointed, the lioness lost her advantageous position and was forced to retreat. The hyenas maintained close-range pressure, gradually shifting the advantage in their favor, and the outcome was determined by the lioness's departure. Once support was lost, control diminished rapidly. In such circumstances, The outcome usually belonged to the side that maintained consistent pressure and chose the right moment. In the open woodlands and savannas of sub-Saharan Africa, such as the Kruger region, African wild dogs live in spaces open enough for observation, but still providing cover, often moving near water sources where prey congregates. They avoid dense forests and areas with lion populations, and this choice of environment helps maintain their pack advantage. Along a wild riverbank, a lone hyena was spotted from afar by a pack of wild dogs. Without warning, they accelerated, closing in from multiple directions. The hyena immediately switched to defense, constantly moving and changing direction to avoid being cornered. The chase continued along the riverbank, the pack of wild dogs relentlessly closing in from various angles, while the hyena moved nimbly. Realizing they were outnumbered, it suddenly plunged into the water, creating a safe distance. The pack of wild dogs stopped and left, leaving the hyena free from their encirclement. In confrontational situations, coordination creates an advantage, but making the right decision at the right time can change the course of events. The outcome usually goes to the side that adapts more quickly to the circumstances. Distributed primarily in the East African savanna, such as the Serengeti and parts of southern Africa, zebras live in open spaces with low grass, relying on their long-distance vision and moving in large herds to detect danger. Seasonal migrations can involve millions of individuals, but this very dense movement sometimes creates short gaps between individuals. One morning on the African savanna, a hyena immediately tracked a zebra that had strayed from its herd, forcing its target into a state of instability. After several changes of direction, the zebra slowed down, unable to rejoin the herd. The hyena closed in and controlled its pace, the outcome clearly favoring the hyena pack. This happened very quickly. A slight misstep in open space would rapidly diminish the advantage. The situation usually favored the side that seized the right moment and maintained consistent pressure. These confrontations highlight a clear characteristic. Hyenas don't rely on lone strength, but on their ability to maintain pressure, coordinate, and wait for the right moment to act. When the rhythm of movement is disrupted, the advantage shifts rapidly, and even a small misstep can reverse the situation in a short time. In nature, victory doesn't belong to the strongest, but to the one who controls the pace and makes the right decisions at the crucial moment. In arid regions, wild dogs maintain a hunting strategy based on coordination and spatial control from a distance. They constantly adjust their position, force their prey to move, and launch short bursts of attacks to disrupt their reaction time. The following sequence of events documents the approach: closing in and control as wild dogs execute attacks in various environments. At the edges of rivers and swamps, crocodiles maintain ambush positions and remain almost motionless for extended periods, maintaining a stable position. Their bodies are low to the water's surface, only their eyes and nostrils visible for observation and breathing, maintaining constant tracking. Their strong jaws and rapid acceleration over short distances allow crocodiles to control the situation when prey enters their range. After a long journey, the wild dog pack approaches the water's edge and slows down to observe the surface before approaching. One individual gets closer, keeping its head low and monitoring every small movement on the water's surface, further closing the distance. When the distance is reduced, the crocodile emerges from the water, directly approaching and dragging the individual at the edge underwater. When the situation shifts to the water, one wild dog loses contact while held underwater, altering the formation. The remaining individuals emit audible signals and retreat from the danger zone, maintaining a safe distance. The fight ended with the crocodile taking control, and the wild dogs retreating to avoid further contact. In the vast savanna, hyenas observe their surroundings for weak or isolated individuals. They often coordinate in groups and maintain distance to control the situation. Their strong jaws, high endurance, and ability to travel long distances allow hyenas to maintain position and be ready for confrontation, thus enabling predators to begin approaching in their direction of movement. Soon after, a group of wild dogs, keeping low on the ground, begin to follow the hyena's movement. Some individuals approach from the sides, while others approach from behind to create constant pressure. As the distance narrows, the wild dogs advance step by step, maintaining their approach from multiple directions. As the pressure increases, the hyena continuously rotates its body to maintain its facing direction and not expose its rear. The wild dogs cannot maintain a safe distance to approach and begin to reduce pressure to avoid a direct collision. The hunt ends when the hyena holds its position and leaves the area, while the wild dog stops hunting and changes direction. In the open savanna environment, antelopes maintain pack activity and adapt to various conditions. Antelopes are a group of hoofed animals living primarily in Africa and parts of Asia, with high adaptability and the ability to maintain stable formations. An individual feeding continuously monitors its surroundings and is ready to signal when danger is detected. As soon as a change is detected, a group of wild dogs begins to close the distance in the direction of the pack's movement and maintains close contact. At that point, another group of wild dogs moves up to close behind, touching the pack's path and forcing it to change direction. Another group moves forward to block the way and force the pack to constantly change direction. When the formation begins to shift, an individual antelope gradually loses its advantage and separates from the general direction of movement. Wild dogs maintain positions from multiple sides and maintain a continuous encirclement. Antelope tried to change direction, but couldn't maintain the distance. The wild dog took control and ended the hunt. On dry, low-lying ground, warthogs move slowly, constantly observing their surroundings before entering open areas, maintaining vigilance. Warthogs have very keen survival instincts and often quickly retreat to their burrows when they detect danger nearby. From that state, a group of wild dogs begins to spread out instead of approaching directly, maintaining distance from behind and forcing the warthog to turn defensively, maintaining pressure. Some individuals follow closely from behind, while others circle to the sides to force the warthog to constantly turn defensively, continuing to squeeze the space. When the distance is shortened, the wild dogs increase pressure and look for a moment to cut across the warthog's path. When the pressure increases significantly, the warthog reacts with direct butts but cannot maintain a stable direction, changing the course of the battle. The wild dogs quickly change direction and continue to squeeze the space from multiple sides, maintaining control. The story ends with the wild dog gaining control and completing the hunt, bringing the events to a close. On the edge of savannas and in rocky, tall-treed areas, baboons live in groups and choose high vantage points to rest and observe, maintaining a visual advantage. They are adapted to the hot climate, traveling long distances for water and food, and maintaining vigilance through vocal and behavioral signals, setting the stage for an early response. Their strong jaws with long canine teeth, powerful arms, and excellent running and climbing abilities help baboons maintain their position and prepare for confrontation. From that point, a group of wild dogs keeps their bodies low and follows from beneath the grass, avoiding attracting attention and maintaining distance. Some spread out to force their way, while others approach in short bursts, avoiding direct confrontation with the adult male, further tightening the space. When the distance is reduced, the wild dogs approach from multiple directions and maintain pressure, escalating the situation to a more tense level. When pressure increases significantly, baboons signal and maintain formation. Males standing at the front, while cubs and females move to higher positions. During the forced movement, an individual at the edge separates from the guarding group, and a gap appears for a short time. The process ends with wild dogs taking up positions from multiple sides, isolating the weaker individual and gaining control. In arid lands, oryx constantly observe as they move and forage, setting the stage for early reaction. They detect predators from afar and quickly signal to maintain formation and steady direction. Their sharp horns, quick reflexes, and high stamina help oryx maintain distance and prepare for confrontation. Soon after, a group of wild dogs begins to close the distance in the direction of the oryx's movement. Some individuals spread out to force their way, while others approach in short bursts to maintain pressure. As the distance continues to narrow, the wild dogs close in and attempt to approach from multiple directions, leading to a direct confrontation. When the distance can no longer be maintained, the oryx turns back to its opposite position and points its horns forward to control the space. The wild dogs cannot maintain close proximity and begin to reduce pressure to avoid a direct collision. The hunt ends when the oryx secures a gap and leaves the area, while the wild dog stops hunting and changes direction. On vast grasslands and savannas, lions live in packs and maintain territorial control, providing a vantage point for observation from a distance. They are adapted to hot climates and often track movement across open terrain, maintaining early detection capabilities. Their large size, powerful physique, and ability to close the distance give lions an advantage in confrontations. As soon as the distance is reduced, a group of wild dogs moves into the area and begins observing the lion's movement, maintaining their initial distance. Some individuals hold positions in front, while others circle around to the sides and rear to create pressure, further narrowing the space. As the distance shortens, the wild dogs approach step by step, but the lion suddenly accelerates and charges directly into the formation, breaking the close-range engagement. Once the formation is broken, the wild dogs cannot maintain their position and quickly retreat from the area, reducing the pressure of the confrontation. The lion takes the center position and re-establishes territorial control, maintaining a stable space. The battle ends when the lion maintains control, and the wild dog retreats and leaves the area to avoid further approach. On savanna grasslands, woodlands, and riverside areas, buffalo move in herds and depend on a stable water source. They can live from wide plains to dense shrublands, well adapted to hot and dry climates. Their thick, curved horns, high endurance, and ability to maintain movement for extended periods help buffalo keep their distance and be ready to confront, providing a foundation for continuous observation and maintaining a stable formation against any threat. A group of wild dogs keeps their bodies low and follows at the edge of the herd, minimizing attention and maintaining an initial distance. They spread out to force the direction of movement, while other individuals approach in short bursts to avoid direct confrontation. When the distance is reduced, wild dogs approach from multiple directions and maintain constant pressure, gradually tightening the space and shifting the situation to close quarters combat. When the pressure increases significantly, an individual at the edge separates from the herd and loses its position in the defensive formation. The wild dogs immediately took positions from multiple sides, isolating the individual and controlling its direction of movement, further closing the distance. The process ended with the wild dogs gaining control of the individual that had broken away from the herd, while the rest of the buffalo herd maintained formation and moved away from the area. Through each situation, the wild dog demonstrates its flexible adaptability, shifting from tracking to closing in and controlling its target. Each move is adjusted to minimize risk and maintain an advantage against prey with varying defensive capabilities. If you want to continue following more intense hunts and survival strategies in the wild, stay tuned for the following parts.